So we are looking at right now our mirrors. So let's start with flipping your paper onto the back. Okay. Taking out your mirror. And let's look at this mirror. Okay. So, what do we notice about this? What color is it? What do you think it's made of? Plastic. Okay. I noticed that its longest part has two small ends that are perpendicular. Anything you notice about this longest part? Do you guys notice this indentation at the bottom? One side's indented. You know why that is? Probably don't know yet. It's indented right here, so it's easier to draw lines. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do is draw some sort of shape on one side. I'm just drawing a silly circle. That's all I'm doing, just drawing some silly circle. You draw some sort of shape. Draw some sort of shape. Okay. Now, I want you to look through, so I'm going to take this beveled edge or this indented side and put it really close to my circle. Now, if we look, if I tilt this slightly, you can kind of see. Do you guys see that? So you see up here, do you see how you can see that circle shape on the other side? That's why we call it a mirror. You can see through it so that you can trace it. Okay? All right, let's turn it around to the front. This is, if you look through this, guys, this is the same packet that I gave you for the compass, except it's all with the mirror. Okay? It's a different tool. All right? Compass is what you're going to see most often, but you will see mirrors as well. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my mirror and I'm going to put it next to AB. And if you look through, if I tilt this sideways, you can kind of see it. See how I can see AB through there a little bit? It's kind of hard to see. It's pretty dark. Okay? So you're going to look through it. I'm going to make sure the beveled edge is where I would draw. And I'm going to look through and I'm going to trace with my pencil that reflection. Okay? And that is my new AB. Okay, that's my new image. And then I'm just going to write down a couple steps. So 1, I put my mirror between my segment and where I want to draw it. 2, I make sure the indented side is where I'm drawing. 3, I trace my segment. Pretty simple, straightforward steps, right? Any questions about those steps or how we did that? Okay, let's turn the paper. We're going to go to the next one. We're going to make a perpendicular bisector. Can you guys raise your hand? Who remembers what perpendicular is? Anybody remember what perpendicular is? Yes. Okay.
Wasn't there 2 lines that make a right angle?
2 lines that intersect to make a right angle. Who remembers what bisector means? Anybody? Bisector? You cut it in half. Good. Some of you are like, don't want to say it out loud to be wrong, but you're okay. All right. So I'm going to take my mirror for this one. I'm going to draw on this side. I'm going to use my pencil on this side. Or if you want, I'm right-handed. So if you're left-handed, you might want to use it on, put the beveled end on this side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use it on this side. And this is going to be a little bit weird. I'm going to look through here. Do you see, can you guys kind of see P? Okay, so I'm going to look through and I'm going to make sure P and the end point is right on top of Q and the end point. So I got to adjust mine a little bit. It went a little too far. Make sure it's right there. Sometimes you might want to put like a bigger dot right at the end. So if I put a dot, I can make sure it's on top there perfectly good. Then I'm going to take my pencil and on the beveled side, I'm going to draw my line. And there is my perpendicular bisector. Okay, I want you guys to take a second and write down, 2 or 3 little steps. So if you saw this again in a month, these steps would help you understand how to do it. Right now, 2 to 3 little steps. So if you saw this again in a month, you wouldn't have to ask any questions. You could just read what you have. Anybody have something they want to share, or should I come steal yours because you don't want to say anything? Got some good steps for me. Anybody trying? Writing a few good steps? Okay, so here's a fellow classmate. They said put the mirror in between P and Q. Look into the mirror and make sure P is on the Q line. Make a line with the mirror. The only thing I might add here is make sure you do your line along the beveled edge or the indented edge. That's the only thing I'd change. Guys, need it for a second? If you were like, I don't know what I'm going to write. Put mirror in between P and Q. Look into the mirror and make sure P is on the Q line. Make a line with the mirror. The only thing I might add is make sure you make a line on the indented side. Okay? Ready? Go to number 3. Go to number 3. All right. Number 3 is we are copying an angle. So this should be very similar to what you did with your segment. I'm going to put my mirror down. Now I want you to notice when I look through this, when I see the angle, it's facing the opposite direction. Is it still a copy? Yeah. It might be like when you look in a reflection, your left eye is on your right and your right eye is on your left, that kind of a thing. And then I'm just going to copy. My angle. This might be where you want to bring your ruler and line it up. Okay. Copied your angle. So now just do 2 or 3 little steps. 2 or 3 little steps about how you do that. So you're just writing 2 or 3 little things. First eye, then eye. You want it to be as good as you can get. That's why sometimes you got to use a ruler. Okay. So here's it, fellow students. Put mirror on one side of the shape. Look through the mirror. Trace the shape through the mirror. I mean, that's exactly what you did. Straightforward. I can imagine seeing this and being like, I don't remember how to do this, and then reading these instructions and being like, oh yeah, it was that easy. I was trying to make it harder than it was. You know what I mean? So those instructions should be helpful. Okay, let's move on to bisecting an angle. What does bisect mean one more time? Bisect means to cut it in half. Okay. So we're going to cut this angle in half. So I'm going to take my mirror. I am going to make sure the beveled side is where I'm going to draw on. I'm right-handed, so it's towards the right. I'm going to put it right on top of the vertex, and I'm going to move my compass until it's completely overlapping. See how I can kind of see how it's not overlapping my original? I got to move it so it's completely overlapping it. Then I am going to make sure I don't move my mirror. That's one of the big mistakes, is you move your mirror when, like, your hand does. Just got to be careful. It wasn't exactly on my vertex, so I'm going to fix that. I want it right on my vertex. Sometimes you need a sharper pencil or a pen point to really get in there. Okay, so I bisected my angle. Okay. Once you're done, 2 or 3 little notes on how you did it. Probably don't need more than 1 or 2 little bullet points. But, you know, you don't want to see this in a month, guys, and be like, I don't remember how to do this. place mirror on the vertex, draw a line along the side of the mirror. This is very straightforward. The one thing I might add is make sure when you place your mirror on your vertex that when you're looking through, the lines overlap. Otherwise, this is great. Okay, let's move on to 5. Okay. 5 is we're making it perpendicular through the point. I want to mention this, it does not say cut the line in half, it's just perpendicular to it. So I'm going to take my mirror again. Again, make sure that beveled edge is towards me. I'm going to put it on Z. And the only thing I need to do is make sure when I look through here, I want to make sure that line is on top of the other line. That's how I know it's perpendicular. And then I'm just drawing a line through my point. It's perpendicular. Now again, just write 1 or 2 little bullet points saying what you would do. One or 2 statements. First I would, second I would. Q, there's not like a dot there, just put a dot next to the letter Q. You're good. Okay, here's what a fellow classmate wrote. Put the mirror between the line and match with the reflection. And trace it and make sure the other line is on top of it. Done. Okay, let's move on to 6. 2 more to go, guys. Number 6. We want it to be perpendicular to the line and go through the point on the line. This should be pretty straightforward. Beveled edge or indented edge towards you, towards the hand you're going to write with. Put it right over the top of P. Look through, make sure the line is matched up. Draw your line. The big thing you need to remember for this one is put it on top of the line, make sure the line matches. Make sure the line matches up. Write your little 1 or 2 bullet points. Okay. So I've got one of your classmates wrote, put your mirror on P, make the lines match up, draw the line. Straightforward. Exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? You don't need any more than that. Don't need any more than that. Put your mirror on P. Make sure the lines match up. Draw a line. All right, let's do 7 and we're done, guys. Last one. Okay. Number 7 is going to be a combination. I'm actually going to do the bottom one this time. We're going to take our mirror and we need to draw a parallel line that goes through P. So I'm going to do 2 steps. First, I'm going to draw a perpendicular line. I'm going to make sure the lines match up. Goes through P. This is just like number 5. Indented sign is facing me where I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw the line straight through. Then I'm going to turn it sideways. I'm going to make a perpendicular line on P. So this is just like what I did for number 6. And if 2 lines are perpendicular to the same line, they are parallel to each other. Do you guys know how to show that 2 lines are parallel to each other? What do? Double arrows. Do you guys remember that? For this one, I might put this for the steps. I might put number 1, do number 5. Number 2, do number 6. And that's it. It's on P. This line? Or this line? Oh, that line is supposed to be on P. That just meant Miss Murphy didn't pay enough attention. It's got to be right on top of P. Overlapping. Here. Is that better? You should cross P. Yeah. Sorry. But do 5 and do 6. Okay, you have the rest of the hour to finish this. When you are done, you may bring up your calculators, mirrors, and rulers, put them away, and pick up your homework. Okay? You do have homework tonight. It's just like the warm-up. So it should be pretty straightforward.